And photographers, we're famous for this. We want to wear every hat that's inside of the business. If you're not getting quality leads and you feel like you've got this like lack of leads coming in, it means that you're putting too much attention on things that you could be outsourcing or giving away and not giving yourself enough time to do the thing that actually grows your business. We have to put 40 to 50% of the effort into the lead generation strategies inside of our business if we want them to grow. Welcome to Business Audit. My name's Roy Serafin. I'm a wedding photographer in Orlando, Florida. And today I'm hanging out with my friend Ashley. We're going to be talking about her business. How's it going, Ashley?
Hey, Roy, doing good. Enjoying the sunshine we're having today. So I'm happy here.
Oh yeah? Where's the sunshine at?
Here in Cincinnati. Cincinnati. Oh,
Hey, that's rare sunshine.
yeah. Well, it's been a lot of rain this last week, but I was where you are, so I didn't have to see it. I hung out in Orlando.
Perfect.
Week, so we're good.
It's a good place to be.
It is.
So you're based out of Cincinnati. Are you just a wedding photographer or do you do multiple things?
Primarily wedding and big events. Sometimes I'll shoot family and friends sessions, family sessions and portraits, but my niche is weddings and events.
How long have you been doing this?
15 years, almost coming up on.
Hey,
I know
you must like it.
Fell into it completely accidentally, but we've grown and absolutely love it. So it's been a quick ride here, but wouldn't imagine any.
But you're here.
Now I'm here.
Is this a full-time or part-time hustle?
Part-time. I'm also a special education teacher, so
Okay.
it's still a good 30 hours a week with editing and marketing and shooting. So it's really 2 full-time jobs, but we love it.
Yeah, little bit of stress and overwork a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit, yeah. It's all good. What's your starting price and then average booking?
35. Well, my company, it's my husband and I. So we do photo and video together. A lot of our clients, they want that piece and they like the idea of having both services with one company. So typically when we book together, we're between 7,000 and 9,000 on average. Just photography, I'm around 5, but my entry level is 3,500.
Okay, great. And then what's your goal for the year and how many leads are you getting so far?
Oh boy. Well, I shared with you earlier. I was getting quite a few leads back the first part of the year, but then maybe the end of March, beginning of April, it just kind of went floof. And so I've maybe gotten 1 or 2 quality leads over the last each month since April. I would love to hit 100,000 this year, since it is just a part-time thing, which it's not a bad part-time gig.
It's a pretty nice part-time gig.
It's pretty high for a part-time gig, but we've got some goals in mind. So, yeah, I currently have 12 weddings for this year. I'd like to have maybe 3 more booked more towards the end of the year, November, December.
Okay.
Everything else is pretty booked for now.
Perfect. What do you think is currently holding you back from hitting that goal?
Well, getting the leads back, and I know I need to do better with my SEO, which I had started really getting into it, and then some family things happened, and I had to take a break from the marketing and all of that, where it would be helpful to get people to see things, current blogs, and all those things, partnering with venues and all of that. I had to take a couple months of a break with some family health things going on. So really getting back into that saddle would be a big help. Time, still teaching full time. Luckily it's summer, so I can kind of like pile on a lot of focus towards our company right now. We don't start back up until August, but then once the school year starts, it gets a little hard to do.
A little busy.
With intentionality,
Okay.
I should say. That's the word. I was like, what's the word I'm looking for? Intentional marketing.
Okay. All right. So basically the main problem in the business is that you're just not getting enough leads coming in.
Yeah.
And then you had to take a little bit of time off because life happens.
Yes.
What's your current process? Like, what are you doing to create leads right now?
Not much. I haven't had a lot of time. I've been letting Google kind of drive things with some of the blogs that I have ranking and things like that. I've been pushing stuff in Facebook when I see someone ask. A lot of our clients, though, do come from word of mouth. So I
Hmm.
keep a good relationship with my previous clients. Majority of the bookings that I have this year are all word of mouth clients. So, which I really love because I'm vetted already, if you will. They know who we are. We may have even met already at the previous client's event or wedding. So word of mouth is my strongest place, I
Lead
guess, for
generator.
advertisement. Yeah, that's my
Okay.
biggest generator. Yeah. I'm
Word
not
of mouth is
pouring into
great.
anything. Yeah, word of mouth is
Go ahead.
great. Anytime you get free advertisement. I was, doing monthly subscriptions to certain places, but it wasn't worth the return of the investment. So I
So
backed
which
off.
places what were you subscribing to?
The big ones, the wedding wires. The first year it was really good for the business, but I wasn't able to work with clients at the budget level that I'm wanting to be at. It was more lower end
Yep.
that was coming my way. So it wasn't my ideal client. They were great people, but yeah, wasn't my,
Yeah. I mean, so the knot can work. It can work. My problem with the knot is that really the knot, the wedding wire, all these companies, for the most part, they're just really great at SEO. That's really all they're doing. If you notice when you write an article, most of the time it's going to be the knot and it's going to be wedding wire that comes up first for a lot of different things, which means that their whole process is okay. We're going to create a page for, let's say, a city, so it'll be like Cincinnati wedding photographer. They'll come up first, and then basically the person who logs onto that or who clicks onto them is going to go to another page that has a whole nother list of rankings. So you're basically paying to rank on page 2 right off the bat.
right,
Um, but that doesn't mean that it can't work. It can work for some businesses. It's just hit or miss as to whether it works. And depending, like for me, I did it in Chicago for I think like a little bit. I hated every minute of that contract. Wouldn't recommend it to anybody. But I also have friends who it was working out perfectly for. And so what I found is that a lot of times it's price first. That's a problem, and then just really understanding their profile breakdowns and everything that they need for that to function. So
yeah.
that said, you're not doing that now, correct?
No, I'm not.
Okay, you're free. All right. So here's the thing about word of mouth. Word of mouth is great, and we should always be striving to get that working in the business. But that should be the backup, not the main source of leads from the business. The reason for that being is that as time goes on, your prices are going to go up because costs are going to go up and because you're going to be more popular. And so the more people that come into your business, the more you're going to cost because you have to have some way of saying, I can't do this. And we know that there's a finite level of attention you can give before you're maxed out, burned out, and not even creating good work.
Right,
So the thing is that with word of mouth, it's always based on the last wedding that you put out. It's pretty much going to be, a referral in that source. And that can be a great thing. That can also be a really bad thing if you have a couple who's particularly hard or their plans change 15 times and people remember the last person they talked to. And unfortunately, as photographers, we're always the last person they talk to. So when they have a bad experience on a wedding, guess whose fault it is? It's ours.
that'd be
On the
mine.
bright side. They can also have a really great experience in the wedding and you're the last person they talk to. And so you're getting all the credit. So it's, it's a give and take.
Yeah,
Inside of SEO, you mentioned blogging. That's one of your efforts. And it sounds like you're not really putting effort towards that at the moment, but you're looking to get back towards that.
right. Yeah. I was doing the
What?
venue reviews, kind of like you have done before. Not necessarily. I guess it would be a venue review. I love how you have your website and blog stuff set up. It's beautiful. I aspire to
Thank
be
you.
Roy. No, no, but this works. It really does what you're doing. Um, yeah, I've done just a few venue reviews, but yeah, I'd need to get more into that and put more effort into and do it better as well.
Yeah. Well, so there's a thing, right? It can't just be venues. Venues is a big part of it, and it definitely works. And I think it can be one of those like really big rainmakers for you. But there's two aspects of that. Anytime you do something in your business, you need to make sure that it's a compound action, meaning you're going to do one thing with the intention of having two results.
Okay.
And with that, when you do venues, you should be also having a face-to-face meeting with that venue. You should be helping them with some marketing photos. You should basically be sucking up as you're there so you can get on that preferred vendor list or that you can get remembered in some way, shape, or form. And they're like, oh yeah, Ashley's awesome. She came, she took some photos. We got some headshots from her. We got, this taken care of. She recommended our venue. She said some really nice things. And that's where that really in-depth venue post should be. So you're getting not just Google traffic, but now you're also getting the possible recommendation from that venue. So that action in itself is really good, but that ignores the part where people are searching for things directly related to your business. So are you writing anything where it's like proposal ideas, engagement locations, what to wear to your engagement session in your specific city or during certain times of the year? Like, are you doing any of that stuff?
Yeah, I have one top parks in Cincinnati for an engagement session, best places for surprise proposals. I've done a few shoots or blog posts geared towards that as well.
Okay.
I don't have an outfit one. I guess I should.
It's
Best
like the number
spots.
2 question you're going to get asked.
I know. What should I wear? I know. I get it.
Yeah.
I never even thought to do a blog post on what should I wear. I need to do that. Let me type that down.
Yeah. I mean, so that's a good one. And it's really important when you write these things, because again, you're still going to be competing with like the knot and wedding wire in those cases. So it's really important for you to make that a really unique article where it's not just what should I wear to any engagement session. It's like, what do I wear to a Ashley engagement session? What do I wear inside of, if we go to an indoor place? What do I wear if we go to the beach? What do I wear if I go to different spots? Because you want to make sure that that article is equally as unique as your photos are to the couple. You want to make sure it's how do they get photos that they see on your website, not what does Pinterest recommend.
And I think I do need to do more of that because so many times people will show up and be wearing things. I'm like, it doesn't really vibe together. That is part of, because we do a full consult and all of that. We give ideas, but it's not like, let me help, design your day with what you wear. So I need to do that. That's a great idea.
Yeah. So there's those. There's also other vendors. So a lot of times, because people hear me say venues a lot, because venues are like a really great place to get a lot of leads coming from, but people forget the venue is like one of a couple different vendors that you can talk about. So you have planners, you've got florists, you've got DJs, you've got caterers, you've got what was the lady called? I did a wedding where there was a lady who was just in charge of the wedding dress. Like her whole job was to hold the wedding dress around.
Oh, wow.
Some people want that. Yeah, it seemed like a lot of extra for me, but the point is that that's something that people want. So those people can also recommend you, and you can also recommend those people. So your top 5, your top, whatever, or what would you ask those planners for your Cincinnati wedding or something like that? Those are also places where you can get more local reach, and it's going to be more intentional.
That's really good. Because I have like my preferred vendors list on my site, but I don't have a blog that's specifically saying why. Why do I love them? So I guess I should do that, right? Take a selfie.
You should.
Take a selfie with them while we're working together.
Yes. Selfies, go to dinner, whatever.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Okay. You're giving me all kinds of fuel.
I know, that's what I do. All right. So outside of SEO, because we know that's going to be a very time specific intensive task. Now you can do that. You can do that yourself. You can outsource it however you want to do it. It's all good. But there's also other things you could be doing. So are you networking in any way, shape, or form?
Some. So I do, when we do weddings, we tend to network closely and stay in touch with the DJ if they're fantastic. And we love working with them. Which we've had some killer ones lately. I've been really impressed. The last wedding we shot this last weekend, the DJ completely moved his entire setup from the inside to the outside because it was at this venue and had this amazing view of the river and the mountains, and everybody was outside. Not a single person stayed in the reception hall. Everybody moved outside. It was like crickets in there, and he's like, they're not going to come in. I'm like, nope, they're not. So anyway, I wouldn't have either. It was beautiful out there. I digress. But some networking, I'm trying to get back up into doing more. But with the break that I have to take, I'm trying to get the steam back in my motivation here to go network more.
Makes sense. So like the reason you want to make sure that that's more of a practice in your business is because, again, the more people see your face, the more they remember who you are, and you don't want to become that forgotten vendor. So going to local meetups for vendors or even photographers, like photographers are also a great source of leads. If you're really tight with the photography community, there's going to be somebody who messages you and goes like, hey, I can't make it to this wedding. I got this inquiry coming in. Are you interested in having it? And then there's also the added benefit for your mental health, where it's like this person genuinely understands the struggle. So when you get those weird inquiries, or you get those like crazy, wedding stories where one of the groom's friends was a jerk the whole day, you can vent to somebody with those kind of connections. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
multiple benefits kind of going with those. And then there's also the other side of networking, which is where most people miss, right? So when you're networking, it doesn't always have to be just about business. Networking can be a great place to meet couples face to face. And what that looks like is like if you have a specific interest, let's say for whatever reason you're really into movies, or you're really into planes or whatever, there's going to be a group of some sort that's meeting locally that you can find on Facebook, or you can find on Eventbrite, or I think meetup.com is another one. There's a group that's meeting there. And what's cool about that is you're not going there for the purpose of business. That's going to be like your secondary benefit, but you're going there to meet normal people in your city, which can help your word of mouth grow and introduce you to cool couples who are interested in the things that you're interested in. In other words, ideal couples.
That is fantastic. Roy.
Yeah.
Magic.
I know things.
Roy.
I know.
That's great.
So those are like the two that I always recommend people hit the hardest. Now, are you a social media person? Do you like doing that kind of stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do the TikTokies and the Facebookins and the Instagrams. I did go viral last year on Instagram, not Instagram, TikTok, or maybe it was 2 years ago, for the dumbest reasons. But they knew who I was, though. So.
Yeah, no, it can. The reach you can get on those platforms are insane, but the intentionality is going to be just as important with that. So if you're going to spend time doing it, make sure you're following whatever that platform's best hits are going to be. Your best practices.
I got to figure that part. Yeah, I know I need to be more.
What's your struggle?
Just those niche posts. I don't know how to do those things well. I really need to know how to do them better, because I think the key to all this is intentionality and being really purposeful in the choices that you make when you are creating content specifically. So I struggle with that part. What to target.
Two of my all-time favorite books that have helped me out with understanding social media as I'm in the process of creating shows and different things. Is one is called Hook Point, and then another was called 1 Million Followers, and they're both by the same guy, which I'm blanking on his name. It's Brendan something. I'll post the link in the description, and also I'll send you the link to those two books. Those two books will help you understand. Like Hook Points is about the first couple seconds of a video or a marketing message or an advertisement, where it's like, how do I pull you in first? That's how you get them sucked in. And then the rest of it is, the other book is more about like what happens in the next couple sections of that video. What are you doing to continuously test and pull people in? What I see most photographers forgetting to do is we're trying to entertain, but we always forget to educate on top of it. And so when we educate, we don't even put a call to action afterwards. So you can solve problems for somebody in like a quick TikTok, but then at the end of it, you're like, and I'm guilty of this too, you're forgetting to say like, and reach out to me, or and follow me, and like this, and do whatever, whatever that goal of that post is going to be. So that post, while it can go really far, it doesn't do any good for you because nobody's connecting with what you said. Nobody's doing an action afterwards. They're just like, okay, this is cool, and they keep scrolling. So coming up with some ideas where you're helping your specific ideal client is going to be key if you're going to be active on these things. And you don't have to be active on any social media platform. You can do everything through face-to-face stuff. You can do traditional print advertising. You can do SEO, whatever you want to do. It's fine. But if you do like this and you enjoy it and you have a good time, you're more likely to get more success out of it.
Yeah, I don't even know. My brain doesn't even know how I would do traditional paper marketing anymore. How do you even do anything on paper? It all is digital for my brain.
Yeah, no, I mean, and paper marketing can work. It's just you have to be creative with it. You can't it's not this thing where you can just send out 1 million flyers and then you're going to get back some couples. Now that can work. It's just not strategic enough, and it's going to be super expensive by comparison. But if you wanted to combine it, I would be combining print marketing with word of mouth. So a dress shop that I was like really connected with, or like a salon or a barbershop or whatever, I would be doing something to promote that business with them. So I'd say, hey, let me come into your shop and I'll do like a lifestyle branding session for you, so you have some Instagram content. But in exchange for that, I don't need you to pay me anything. But what I want to do is I want to put a little sign up in your shop And you just got to make sure that that shop or whatever store it is that you're working with, that whatever that small business owner you're working with is working with those clients that you actually value, the ones that are like meant for your business.
Mm-hmm.
We have some that are meant for and some that we shouldn't.
Right. Yeah.
We've all ran into those. So like working in that marketing space where you're like, okay, I really like this barbershop, or my husband really likes this barbershop. And all the men that go there, they're spending $40, $50 on a haircut. So these they're not broke. They're making some kind of cash. They have some sort of expendable income. What if I went and I did the shoot for this place, and then I gave away, it's a guy, so I'm just gonna be honest. What if I gave away, like, I forgot to do something packages where like it's supposed to be the anniversary for the couple, and the guy completely forgot, and you have like your notice there, hey, you can book a session last minute, or it's like close to a holiday. Hey, it's Valentine's Day. Guess who typically forgets Valentine's Day? It's guys.
It's guys. Yeah.
It's almost always guys. So it's like, hey, are you forgetting somebody at home? Are you going to get in trouble this weekend? Here's my package. So you just have like a little sign that reminds them that they can do this. And then you also advertise inside of that piece of paper or whatever, why it's going to make the other person happy. It's not for guys marketing. It's really simple. Like if it's a traditional couple and it's the other person's happiness is going to make the guy buy it. Like for me, I don't buy things for me. If I buy something for me, I don't need an advertisement for it. I just go buy it. It's like, okay, this is it. I'm done. But if you want to get me to spend a lot of money on something, how is it going to make somebody I'm connected with super happy? Use that marketing inside of those places, and now you're hitting them at home. And either way, if they're walking in, they're going to see your name all the time. The first time someone says, hey, I need photos, they're going to be like, oh, I remember this sign that was in my barbershop all the time. And that way you're building this collaborative process with them. And you could do photos, you could do TikToks with them, whatever.
Type this down too.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
A whole book of good stuff in the last 20 minutes. I don't even know how I can handle the next 30.
Well, let's talk about it.
This is good.
That's the easy part of the conversation. Yeah, but that's the easy part. Now we have to talk about the hard part.
Oh, no.
You're prioritizing other things in your life, in your business even, outside of growing the business. What do you think those are?
Yeah. My family, my
that's a good one.
My job. That's about it. Not even myself. It's mostly my kids, my mom, my husband, the job. Let's dive deeper into that, because that's not the full story. Okay.
Inside of your business, right?
Yes.
We have different hats we can wear. And photographers, we're famous for this. We want to wear every hat that's inside of the business. Every single one. We don't want to let go of any sort of control. We're putting chains and everything. No, I don't want you to steal this. This is mine. It needs to be the Ashley way or whatever. Everyone's guilty of doing that at some point. What you're doing right now inside your business, if you're not getting quality leads and you feel like you've got this lack of leads coming in, it means that you're putting too much attention on things that you could be outsourcing or giving away, and not giving yourself enough time to do the thing that actually grows your business. We have to put 40 to 50% of the effort into the lead generation strategies inside of our business if we want them to grow. That's where most of our focus should be. Because the more focus you put in there, the more things you get to create, which is photos. And that might look like maybe editing's taking up all your time. Are you editing all your photos, or are you using like an Imagine AI?
I'm editing every one.
By hand? Okay, so let's talk about that. Right here. Why?
Quality control, I guess. Okay. I don't know.
You're not doing quality control though. In that point, when you're editing the whole thing, you're not doing quality control. You're taking the whole process out.
Yeah. I just want to make sure that
quality control is like a check.
Yeah. I just want to make sure. Well, I'm controlling the quality, I guess I should say, that is being
there you go.
out.
So
I want to be consistent with the edit. I want to make sure that every detail is noticed, and that I'm afraid that if I send it out, the way that I would have edited it won't come through. My creativity won't come through because it's their creativity.
Yeah. Well, let's look at that a little deeper, right? These softwares are not meant to be like one click and you never have to look at the photo again. That's a terrible way to look at these softwares. These softwares are there to help you jump ahead in the editing process, to where it's like as close as you can get. Let's say it's 98% done, so that you're only having to put in the extra 2% to get it to where whatever the Ashley version of this is going to be. Mm-hmm. It's not kicking you out of the editing process, but it is jumping you ahead because at this point you've been doing this for 15 years. You have a pretty set in stone style, correct?
Yeah. Vibrant.
Okay, so you have more than 20
creativity. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. You have more than 2,500 photos you can send into the program so it can learn basically what your style is going to be.
Yeah.
Imagine what time you would save if you used a program like Aftershoot and you had it help you cull a little bit faster. Now, culling is also another thing. It's not going to do everything for you. It's like a starting point. It cuts out most of the stuff you need to check, and then you just need to check what it's moved away. Then you run it through the editing process. Imagine how much less time you'd be spending if you weren't individually editing every single image, but you were looking over the finished product and going, oh, I could tweak this.
Yeah, I haven't even really looked at that possibility.
You should. It's amazing.
I should.
Because what happens is this time frees up, and then you have this time to go focus on the marketing part of your business to where you're creating stuff. Or it could even be just like a more creative focus of your business. You could do it to where you put all that time and effort towards marketing, which is what I typically would recommend if leads are your current problem. Yeah. But you can also take that freedom, that time and freedom to start concepting ideas to really get in the head of your ideal client, like a really creative session, maybe a story of some sort. You can do what I'm starting to do, which is where I'm giving back to people. I at this point in my business want to start giving to couples who would never in a million years be able to afford what it is that I do. I actually have the freedom to do that because one, I'm good with cash. Like we're the money's coming in, the leads are coming in. I don't necessarily need to do every single wedding that comes in, but I'm also not trying to over control the business. I have an accountant. I don't want to be in charge of the accountant or the booking or not the booking, but the books. It's not my strong suit. My strong suit is the marketing and it's the creativity of the shooting. Not necessarily even the editing. The editing I can get 98% of the way there, take that 2% of effort and check and make sure everything's perfect and get rid of whatever it was to make that a ROI photo. And then I can go focus on those other parts of my business, which makes the business continuously expanding and growing. But if I'm stuck working in the employee levels of that business, the editing, the accounting, the other boring stuff that we don't want to do. Some of you are and this is more for like the internet in general. Some of you are trying to be your own lawyers, and nobody needs to do that. Just for God's sake, talk to a lawyer and have them write up your contracts. And ChatGPT is not a lawyer.
Yes.
You guys scare me with that.
But
pulling yourself out of those employee sections and putting yourself in the leadership section of your business, that's where the growth is going to be.
That's good stuff, Roy. Yeah, I'm wearing all the employee hats and the leader hat and the.
You can't.
Yeah, so
you're trading a day job for a day job.
I am. Yeah, it is so much. It's so much. So, which program then do you recommend? You said two: Imagine AI and Aftershoot.
So some people have a preference towards Imagine AI. I personally think Aftershoot is the coolest program of all time, and here's why. When you use Aftershoot, everything is local. So you're building you have a saved profile that it creates based off of your images, and that's the only part that's really not local. Like you have to upload 2,500 first, and it gets an idea of what your editing style is going to be. This is 2,500 finished edits.
I was going to say, is it the raw
it gets an idea.
Edited? Okay.
Yeah. And then the rest of it is like, I could be on a plane and I don't have any Wi-Fi whatsoever. I can get my culling done and I can run it through an editing process and then get it that extra 2%. So like when I fly a lot, which is pretty often for somebody like me, I pretty much always flying, going somewhere. I can now take that time on that plane where I would have maybe been sleeping, maybe reading a book, which is also a good thing to do. But I can now take that and get more things knocked off my schedule where that time would have been allocated and kind of wasted otherwise. I also find way more consistent for me. Just way more consistent. The white balance is always like, it's actually better than I can see because I'm actually colorblind. So like most of the time it's more on point than I can even make it. And that's why I'm particularly like an Aftershoot person. I just like it and I like the company. The company's also really great. Justin is great. Harshit is another guy that's just always there for you. You can message their support thing. You're going to get an answer right away.
Okay. I'm going to check that out. You said you're colorblind?
Yeah. I can see about 10% of colors.
Even more incredible. Wow.
Yeah.
No, really? So how do you edit knowing that you can't see colors? How do you sorry, I'm diving into
So if you No, that's okay. This is every time someone finds this out, they're just like, what?
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Two things help me. One is that I before I was a photographer, I was actually a graphic designer. Okay. And so I was learning where the colors were on the RGB scale. Like if you look at that, like the hue and saturation of things, I can see where things are kind of starting. And it's harder for me to tell, but now I know kind of where the numbers are. So while I can't see the color necessarily, like I won't know that I'm looking at an orange if I'm trying to look at a red, I can tell by the number and be like, okay, this is just a touch too orange for me, and I need to kind of pull this back a little bit. That helped me a lot.
Wow.
The second thing that helps is that my style, if you look it up, it's I can never pronounce it. It's red-green color blindness is what I have.
Okay.
If you look up the way that the spectrum of colors look on on that spectrum of things versus the normal one, the way that I edit is perfectly in that scale. Like it looks like my color palette.
That is so cool.
So I'm really consistent by not letting that be a hindrance to me and just accepting that that's kind of how I see things, because it looks unique to everyone else, but it looks super normal to me.
Yeah, 100%. It looks super unique. That's really cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's never been a problem in any of my businesses. That's why, I hear a lot of people, and we talk about, ADHD is a problem in my business. I got this. Just like lean into it. It's cool. Like that's how we get programs like this. That's how I've done so many different, I've done so many different branding projects. I've done so many different photography projects, coaching, teaching, like all those things. They're just part of the dopamine path that falls in line with what my ADHD wants. So I just kind of let them be part of me rather than fight it.
That's incredible. Yeah, absolutely. I think so many times we do say, well, I have this problem, but we have to change our mindset to be that growth mindset of, no, this is who I am. How can I use it to my advantage? And then it stands out from the crowd. That's really cool.
Humans like to mine for problems rather than solutions. So I can look and say, this is my problem, or I can look and say, you know what? I'm just going to do it differently than everyone else, and it's fine. It is what it is.
And and it makes you so unique, and it makes people appreciate it even more. Very cool.
Right.
Thanks for sharing your story, Roy.
Of course, not a problem. There's a video coming out that's going to go way deep into the story pretty soon here.
I can't wait.
Speaking of which, because this is for YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button so the YouTube algorithm likes me. We want to be friends with that.
Yes.
We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, and if we get to 10,000 subscribers, the 10,000th person, I'm going to give them a full month of coaching and access to all my templates and my courses. They get like a gold pass. I'm Willy Wonka.
I'm going to go create a bunch of accounts and watch, and then 9,999, I'm going to like it on a new account. Be like, 10 grand. No, that's incredible.
I'm not going to do that much research to see if you did that, so that's fine. But that's cool. So back to the problem inside of your business, right? The lack of time being put into creating new leads.
Yes, that is the problem.
Are you willing and able to let go of some of the things that feel like you need to control them, like training someone and outsourcing it?
If I knew I had quality people.
Yeah.
Or
well, don't hire it like.
Yeah, that I could trust. Maybe it's a trust issue. I don't know.
It's usually is. That's what control tends to be. It's like, okay, well, I don't trust it. If I put this person in charge of it, they're not going to do it my way. The other part of it's thinking your way is always better. And just to be honest with you, I've tried every different way there is. It's not always better. Sometimes you actually need to look at someone else's method and go, you know what? This actually makes more sense, or this gets better results, even though I don't like it. That's okay. But no, it's quality people is important. If you're going to put someone in your business, that better be the person that's super passionate about what you do. They're super excited to do it. They're like really into the deep diving process of what it is that you're going through. Otherwise, that person's just going to they're going to drain energy from you, and you're going to be able to do less than what you would be able to do normally.
Right. And then I don't want to have to go back and do what they were supposed to do because they didn't do. And then I'm creating more work for myself when I already don't have time. So that's where it kind of...
Before you hire any sort of VA, you need to have what's called SOPs. Now, SOP stands for Standard Operating Procedures. So it's like, what would you do? What is your process? Write this out. And I mean, write this out like you were talking to someone who literally is the dumbest person you've ever met in your life. Like when I'm saying this, like if we're talking putting away the camera, You're taking the camera off of you. You're putting it into the bag. You're pulling it out of the bag. You're taking the cards out. You're putting it. It's just as detailed as you can possibly make it so that no mistakes are being made and no questions come up. Because the more thorough you are here, the more likely it is to get the result you want.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand that that's a problem within VAs, is that they're not being specific. And so if I'm vague and I say, hey, go edit these photos, and I don't tell them how to use Aftershoot and I don't tell them how to use Lightroom or any of those things, they may go edit them all in Photoshop, and that's going to take 20 times as long as it would in Lightroom or Aftershoot or any of those programs.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm paying them 20 times more because I wasn't 10 times more specific.
Right.
It's a problem.
Yeah. Details.
So we got another kind of elephant in the room here. Now, you said that it's your husband and wife business, correct?
Yes.
What's your husband doing?
What does he do? He does the video side.
Okay.
He handles all the videography, but he also has a full-time job with another company in addition to our company.
So this is going to sound real harsh, and he's probably not going to like me after I say this, which I'm fine with. You're putting 30 hours in on top of your regular job. Is he matching that energy?
Yeah, he does all the video stuff, so we're both kind of...
But the marketing stuff, though?
Oh, with the marketing? No, I do all the marketing.
Okay. So he's just editing things and kind of working on those.
Editing.
There's a way that makes sense.
Baseball dadding it.
Right.
So he takes care of all
He's baseball dadding it.
Baseball is life right now, so we kind of flip and take turns with that. But yeah, no, I handle all the marketing side of stuff. He'd be willing to jump in. He just doesn't know where to start. And it's probably because I haven't shared. I'm just like, I don't have time. I'm just doing myself.
See, you are in a husband and wife teams have this unique benefit to them that they have a second voice. Like when I have an idea, I've got a dog I can talk to for the most part. And he's not very helpful. He doesn't really listen. I mean, he'll sit and stare at me, but I'm not getting many ideas bounced back. And so a lot of times for me in my business, I'll be bouncing ideas off of random people who have no idea what I'm talking about. But the person that's in your business is that's your husband, right? He knows what the struggle is on the wedding day. He knows what the struggle is in the marketing section. So if you bounce ideas back off each other and you teach him what you know, he's more likely to help you grow faster than to hinder you in any way, shape, or form. Matter of fact, you could take those marketing hours and say, all right, well, I'm spending 30 hours a week in my business. Maybe you can get that down to like 10 each.
Yeah.
Because you're not doing everything on your own. You're being Atlas at the moment. Do you know who Atlas was?
I heard. But it's not.
Atlas is it's Greek mythology.
I would love to have a refresher.
I'm not going to break down the entire story, but if you've ever seen, it's a picture of it's a statue picture, whatever, of like a really, really like in shape person that's holding the entire weight of the world on their shoulders.
Yes.
That's who Atlas is. You're kind of trying to be Atlas in the business where you're shooting photos, which is equal amount of effort-ish as shooting video, but then you're also taking on the marketing and the education part of it. You need to start sharing those between the two of you so that you can start getting better results. And you both don't feel as burned out. And maybe you could go to a baseball game every once in a while while he's doing the marketing.
Very true. Yeah, no, that's 100% true. And that is one of the goals that we talked about this year at the beginning of the years, to do more of that marketing piece together. And then, like I said earlier, we had to take a break because of family things that we needed to be handled. So we're both trying to still get ramped back up into doing that. It had become more of an afterthought, but now since you reminded me, I'm going to bring it back to the forefront of the conversation. But that is something he did want to be more engaged with that. So I just have to be more intentional. That's the key word of this whole video. Intentionality.
Mm-hmm.
Doing that.
Those SOPs will also help you when life happens. Life is something that no business can avoid. Someone's going to pass away, unfortunately. Someone's going to get sick. Sometimes you're just not going to be... You can have like an emotional breakdown where you just can't pick up the marketing side of the business because you can't be this super positive person at the moment. And that's just like, that's real. That happens. But if you have those SOPs set up and you can send out to a VA, that doesn't mean that your business, because you're having a life problem, has to be put on hold, but now it can be offset, and now you don't feel that stress kind of coming through.
Mm-hmm.
You can remove some of that.
That's really good. All right, I'm going to do that too. Boy.
Well, cool. All right.
Do's to do.
Well, you got a lot to do.
I've got a lot of things to do, so this is good. No, it's really good.
So we're going to run down the list real quickly so you kind of have a little recap. And for anyone else who's like not being able to pay attention to how many ADHD subjects we jumped on, which is okay. Natural,
Two
right?
ADHDers together, it's a problem. But we're creative at
That's
least.
almost a theme. Yeah. So, okay, with your SEO, what I want you to do is I want you to start focusing on creating more intentional blogs towards what you do. That doesn't mean stop the vendor stuff or venue stuff, but that means focus on if you have the basics covered. So your engagement proposals, all the stuff that would be directly related to someone looking for what to do in your business for your location. Okay. The second thing I want you to do is I want you to make those into compound actions. So if you're going to write something about best locations in the city for engagement sessions, I also want you to reach out to those locations, get their email, and once you post that article, send them the article so they know that they were featured somewhere. Because if you're talking about them, there's no reason for them not to reach back out to you.
Yeah.
Then you're going to start doing some networking, and I want you to go to network meetings. I also want you to go to like fun networking meetings for like meeting local couples and understanding what the local scene's like. That's going to be really key for getting better connections.
Does that include bridal shows?
So bridal shows would be a little different. That's what I would consider. Bridal shows that's like ads. It's paid ads.
Okay.
It can, and I think those are good to do. Like if you're going to get leads from those are great. As long as you have a great plan, you can make that work. I still would recommend doing fun local opportunities. And by the way, baseball with your kids is also a networking opportunity. Those people know some people that are going to be getting engaged or need a photographer, maybe them themselves. Parents are the worst at taking care of themselves, the best at taking care of their kids. So those parents probably haven't had a date night session in years. Probably haven't updated anything since their wedding photos. All opportunities.
Yes.
So networking doesn't always have to look as like point blank as like, okay, we're going to the wedding vendor collective. Those are good to do, but you also have these little opportunities within your normal life. Last but not least, we're going to look into offsetting some of the things that you're doing inside your business that you don't need to be doing. You really need to look at how I'm spending time. As a matter of fact, what I want you to do, this is an added thing.
Okay.
There's a website. It's called Toggl. It's TOGGL.com.
Okay.
It's a clock-in thing. What I want you to do is every time you work inside your wedding business for the next 2 weeks, I want you to write out, or I want you to clock in on what that task is. So if you're working for 15 minutes on editing, you're going to write 15 minutes on editing. If you are doing a consultation, I need you to write that in. If you're doing marketing, write that in. If you're going to a networking meeting, write that in. Make sure you're clocking in and clocking out every single time. At the end of the 2 weeks, what you're going to do is you are going to look at everything that you did inside your business, and I want you to rate it by using colors or whatever your method's going to be. And you're going to have one section for I love doing this, I'm excited to do it. One section for I hated it. And then I also want you to give it another rating, which is going to be it got results, it created something in the business. Once you have those through, you're going to look at all those tasks, and then you're going to look at them and you're going to decide whether they can be automated, delegated, or eliminated. Okay, so automated is like using Aftershoot for edits. Delegated is you're going to have your husband or a VA do it. Eliminated means I'm doing this and it's completely wasting my time. I'm not getting any results from this whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you said
sometimes you might find, Toggl. So TOGGL.
Okay, as a person with ADHD, that visual is so helpful. I suffer from time blindness, as most ADHDers do probably. So having that visual to be able to break it down is going to be really helpful for me to process. It's aloof sometimes, so that's great.
You don't know what you're spending your time on, which is going to be most like we think because we're solopreneurs, right? That we don't have to do this thing where we have to check in and know what we're spending our time in. It makes more sense for us to spend it's more important for us to clock in than it is for someone that's at like a regular job. Someone on a salary, they don't really need to clock in. As long as they're on time and they're getting stuff done, they should be okay. Us, on the other hand, we need to really be looking and analyzing, like, if I'm spending my time on this, is it producing results in this business or am I wasting my time and burning bridges?
Yeah.
Because the more you can eliminate means the more you can free up to do either maybe you want to go hang out with your kids more, maybe you want to go on a date night with your husband, or maybe you want to have an extra hour of doing, writing blogs or whatever. Or whatever sort of marketing that's like really exciting for you.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Those are the opportunities that we miss when we don't track our time.
Yeah.
And you're right. With ADHD, it's hard. It is so hard to do that. This was fun. I had a good time.
Roy, I had a great time. You've given me such a plethora of knowledge, as always, and really giving me a new look at what I need to dive into. So I appreciate you making a difference in my business and anybody else's that's watching. So if they haven't liked and
Yeah.
subscribed yet, they need to, because you really are a plethora of wisdom when it comes to marketing and just the business side and life in general. So I appreciate you.
Love that. So you were saying you would recommend that they fill out the link in the form to get on Business Audit.
Oh yeah, they definitely need
Perfect.
to do that. They're missing out.
Okay, well, perfect. Because that, by the way, in case people don't know, this is free. Like, I didn't charge her a thing. I just said, hey, come show up. Let me show your face on YouTube and clips and a few other places, and you're good to go.
Amazing. I know. They need
Painless, right?
painless. Yes, absolutely. No, it's definitely a major opportunity that should not be free, but you are offering it that way. So I really appreciate it.
I'm hoping the views and the sponsors will eventually pay me for this, but either way, I'm happy to just see people's business kind of thrive. Also, if you do want to pay me for stuff, there's also links for all my courses in that description as well. And again, hit that like and subscribe button, please. Thank you so much, Ashley. I will see you soon.
Thanks, Roy. You got it.